Hi, it's Kevin Baldwin here from the Silver Fox Real Estate Marketing. These are the 5 steps I'm going to tell you about buying a house. But first I'm going to tell you why you should be following these steps. If you were going out to buy a car and you walked into a dealership, they'd want your driver's license to make sure that you do know how to drive. Kind of the same principle as finding out about your financing. Financing is very, very important. They do advertise a lot of things on Facebook. Hey, we'll give you a cheap interest rate or whatever, just to get you to give them a call. Once you give them a call, they just take your name and all that. They do a very, very little background check and they say, yes, you qualify. Well, it's great. But if you really want to get qualified, you should go either to a bank or a mortgage broker. Because a mortgage broker and a bank will ask you the most important questions. Do you have a job? What's your social insurance number? Where are you living? Are you owning right now? Are you renting now? So they can say, well, you know what? You're paying rent for $2,000 a month and you want to buy a property that's going to be maybe $1,500 a month, whatever it is. But at least the bank will have a better understanding, and same with the broker. So when they say you are pre-approved for $500,000, they're not just pulling a number from the sky. When you do get a pre-approval and you decide to go out to start looking for a house, you know how much money you can spend so you don't go over your budget. First thing you should do is find out what you want in a house. You might want a garage, you might want a finished basement, you might want a 2-story, not a bungalow. Those are very, very important questions to put down a piece of paper and give it to your realtor to know what he's looking for. You don't want him to show you a 2-story with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath when you needed 4 bedrooms because you've got a big family. It'll save you a lot of time and you won't get kind of ticked off because they're showing you the wrong property. Do not go out and buy a new car because you are pre-approved for a house. Do not go out and buy something that's very expensive. The reason being is, on the last day, the day you walk into your lawyer's office, possession date, and you say, we're going to sign the documentation to take possession of that house, the bank can pull the mortgage. How that affects you is, whatever you've put down payment on that property now belongs to the seller, and you don't have a house to move in. So do not buy anything till you've moved into the house, and then you can start spending money if you want. The other thing about financing and looking for a house is you've got to make sure what are the penalties. If all of a sudden you've been in the house for 1 year and you've been transferred to another province because you got a better paying job, did you get it from an A1, that's like a bank, or you get a B loan? Because a B loan is totally different to a bank payout, because you get a 5-year mortgage and there's a big penalty on that. A B lender will not tell you what you're going to be paying for penalty, where a bank will usually say 3 months of payments and we're good to go. A B loan will wait till the day of the closing of the house and they'll say, guess what? You owe us $22,000. And if you were planning on using that $22,000 to put down on the next house in the other province, guess what? You have no money. Next thing is about putting an offer because you found the house. You got to make sure there is condition of financing, which is normal, and a condition of home inspection. Even though you say, well, we don't want to do a home inspection because we trust the house, always put it on. You can always remove it later, because you'd hate to get the financing, say on Monday, and your wife's boss tells your wife that, guess what? You're not having a home inspection done? We got stung. You have that option to do it. You can't go back and say, hey, we want to change the contract, give it to see us, do the home inspection, because the seller doesn't have to let you do that. Those are 2 most important things to do. First, you get your financing, then you get your home inspection, because you don't want to spend the money on a home inspection because your financing didn't go through. Once the conditions are removed, most people don't know that all the paperwork has to go to the seller's realtor, and the seller's realtor has to send everything over to the seller's lawyer. And at that time, the seller's lawyer finds out what that seller has to pay in all its penalties and all. And then the paperwork comes to your lawyer. So say you bought a house for May 1st and it's right now January. Well, you're not going to get the paperwork 10 days after saying, yes, it's a done deal. You might get it in the end of April, because the lawyers will do all their other businesses first and they'll put yours in the right time for May. Most lawyers will phone you and say, you know what, we don't have any paperwork. Or you phone them and say, hey, when are we coming down to sign the paperwork? And they'll say, you know what, we haven't received it. But in reality, the minute you sign that piece of paper saying all conditions are removed, a realtor sends it to the company, guess what? The next day, your lawyer has it. There's a lot of moving parts to get your paperwork to you for you to sign. And possession date is right underneath the price you're offering. So if you put down 12 noon December 1st, that's when you take possession. What people do is they end up putting possession dates that conflict with a holiday. So Friday's a Good Friday, guess what? The lawyer's offices aren't open. You're not going to move in December 1st. That's like having possession December 24th. Well, there are no lawyers, the title places aren't open, so guess what? The government's offices aren't open, you're not going to get your possession date. So you should always look at the possession date you want to move, and that's how you'll move. And keep an eye on it, because some realtors are doing a lot of work and they're not looking at calendars all the time. That if you say, okay, we want possession date for this September 15th, and it is a Friday, and they can do it, it'll happen. If you have any more questions, please give me a call or go to my website at kevinbaldwin.ca. Thank you.